Howdy y'all, NanAlive back again. I'm gonna do the project and I'm going to be using 550 paracord for my soft shackles prusiks. I think it's gonna work out pretty good. I have the rope rail already installed on my truck. I'm gonna have soft shackles on it that slide on prusiks, and that's gonna be one string. So the prusik and the soft shackle will be connected together. So unshackle. It's going to be super easy, I think. So my project is going to be that. I'm going to be using the docking line as the rope rail that the 550 paracord will be sliding on. But for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to use this big fat line here, so it can be easier shown what I'm doing. So I'm taking a bend. I got extra line. This is going to be more than I need for the demonstration. But what I'm going to do is take a big bend, and I'm going to just pull it over and do the double, it's doubled, so this making two slip knots here. And that tail end that's coming, it would just be a single end that would slip through, is now going to be a loop because I'm doing it doubled. I'm going to take that loop and stick the two loops through it and flip that loop back over in a way that when I tighten it up this way, it's going to match up to that. It's going to be like a third row in that. That's the one I just tightened out on the other end of these two. So now I have a doubled line with two loops on it. I'm going to put stopper knots right on the ends of these with little ears on the end. I really think it matters which one you use, but Ashley's are great. Two important things on an Ashley stopper knot is one, making sure when it's doubled like this, making sure they track evenly without crossing all the time, or even once. And then two is tighten it up now before you finish pulling your end through. Yep, that's how you check it on that side to make sure it's looking all symmetrical and even in a set of threes. I'm gonna do that to both sides. If I was smart, I would have measured how much slack I needed before I got this far. I'm trying to make these the same length. It is important that they're the same length. The knots, the loops you started out with should have been the same, and the stopper knots you put in need to end up being the same. So I want to end up with them being equal here. I had two equal loops. I put two stopper knots in them, and I have two little ears at the end of them. The way this is going to work for a soft shackle is I'm going to stick one stopper knot through the other loop, and that's going to shackle itself. And these little ears are what I'm going to use to pull and wiggle it free. I can do this one through that one, or that one through this one, and it's going to work just the same. The other end here is I'm going to turn that into the prusik that's going to be wrapped around my rope rail. So that's going to be another part of this soft shackle contraction. The one I'm going to actually put on my truck is going to be made out of paracord, 550 cord. So here I got it. 6 foot piece of paracord that is doubled up. If I double that up, and if I make my knot right there at that bend, that will be too short of soft shackles and plenty to make the prusik with. So I'm going to go down about a third of the way from half, a third of the way back down to my loose end, giving me that much to make my prusik with. Okay, so here I'm going to wrap it around, pull it up, making those two doubles. Right now I'm dressing it up to make sure there's a cross there. I'm making sure there's no crosses in my lines, because I want this to be a sound knot, and it's going to actually help the grip of the knot better, and it's going to help my two sides of the soft shackle end up not getting mixed up. Making sure that it's not crossed at all. And then I'm going to take that loop and put the whole knot through it and flip it over the other side. So now I have two independent loops on one side, and when I pull them up, it tightens that one. So I'm pulling these two loops, making that one loop get shorter and shorter, but without it being crossed. And I just kind of match them up as I pull it up. Now they're the same size. If I keep pulling it, this will slip through. But if I flip it over, or even stick the two tails through it and then pull it, it's gonna wrap up and make a triple layer on that one side. So double, triple. If this was a just that triple on that side. So that third one there is important. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to get up under there really, really tight. So I got to find it again, but I do want it to be right in position, nice. I'm going to put stopper knots on each one with leaving a little ear at the end of them, which you don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. Now from here, I'm going to do stopper knots on each of these, leaving a little ear at the end. So just kind of like using a hand length, working the knot right at the end of my width of my hand. As I'm doing it, I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any twists. It makes the knot less grippy as a stop knot. It makes more of a slip off kind of a stop versus a big stop. So I think I got it. Try to not let any of the lines get twisted. So I want the whole path of each of these knots to not have any twists. One line, crossing over the next one. I want them to run like in tandem with each other, side by side the whole way. And I'm just kind of dressing it up as I go, as I make this Ashley's knot, so that I don't have to have a big problem later. Take the single loop, wrap it over the non-crossed wrap, and put it through the double loops. And again, as you're about to tighten that, make sure there's no crosses going on. This one happened to want to cross right at that last minute as it was getting done. Yeah. Okay, so then as you tighten the knot, you get a nice stopper knot with a little mouse ear on the end of it. And they should match up even. And I'm going to actually tighten it here a little better first. Okay, then take the single side, cross it over the non-crossed side, and put it through the double loops. Okay, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but one side has a single loop, one side has a double loop. One side of the wrap has a cross, the other side of the wrap does not have a cross. And then I'm going to tighten that way. Keeping it dressed up, of course. It wants to twist over itself, and I'm not allowing that because I want the knot to be strong. I get it to about there, pause, or yeah, put that one on pause, and do the same thing with the next one. Okay, the reason I wanted to stop there is so I can get them matched up before I tighten it too much. There we go. Yeah, sometimes knots are a good brain puzzle. That's what happened. It must have gotten pulled through. Just finagle it until this twists are out. Get about halfway through that knot and then check them. So on the Ashley's, there's a crossed side and a non-crossed side. And to make it proper, you take your loose end and you stick it over the non-crossed side and through that loop there, and then you pull the whole thing down tight, and you get the little ear at the top. And then on this side of it, if you look at it from that angle, it's symmetrically even in threes. Try to get that good looking symmetry on that triple Celtic knot looking thing, the side of it, and then pull that down and then check it, and it looks good. So this one, I'm gonna tighten that down first, bring it over the one side bring the one loop over the non-crossed side through the two loops, and then pull those two loops. Now that knot ended up being a lot smaller, but let's see if it stayed the same length. And I'm gonna pull it tight here to lock down the stopper knot. And then you kind of always gotta adjust and dress this thing up. I'm gonna loosen it so I can get that knot squared away. Much better. Okay, so knot on the doubled side there. This is actually twisted underneath the wrap, so I'm gonna just undo it so it isn't twisted underneath the wrap. Okay, so I stopped there so I can match them up. Got this side has the crossed over, this side does not have the crossed over. I'll take the single loop and pass it over the non-crossed side through the double loops. That is going to give me the little tag ear that I'm going to help me untie it with, making sure no crossed happened. And then I'm going to pull it tight, and they should be matched up even. Even though that one came a little crooked somehow. We'll just go like that and that. Okay, now I got the two loops with stopper knots, ears, and then the two loose ends on the other side. Okay, so there's the side that's got 3 layers on it. That last one, you're gonna use that, so you wanna kind of keep it handy. Okay, so here is how I'm going to apply it. I'm taking the whole contraption, putting it up above the knot I'm using, or even behind it, I guess. I'm going to wrap the tail ends around, going towards the out. So 1, 2, 3 times is usually the magic number on a prusik, but I'm going to go 4. I'm going to kind of pull it in and dress it up, trying not to lose anything. Now this these 2 loops, I'm going to stick through that 1/3 layer that I told you I needed to find later. Okay, rest it up. Can I get it all snug? Now I'm going to tie a simple double overhand as a stopper knot for that. The reason I'm picking that one is because I can get that one up there close, really close to that original knot. And then when I pull these back tight, that 3rd loop will tighten back and grab that stopper knot. Now I have a soft shackle on a prusik that I can go either way through there. Then I'm just going to cut that tail off and be done with it. Melt it again. Alright, so I got my my nan shackle. I'm going to get that 3rd layer, kind of get it little, easy to find, ready for me. I want that facing towards me. When I put it over the line, I'm going to wrap it 3 times is usually the magic number for a prusik, but I'm going to go 4 because my middle name is Overkill. I'm going to dress it up. I'm going to stick these 2 loose ends, these tail, and through that loop that I just made that came from making that double slip, the double loop end. Dress this up. Just make a overhand loop that I can get way up tight up there. Get it nice and snug up there. Now when I pull the prusiks back out, that loop, that 3rd loop thing is going to grab it. Then I'm going to cut those tails off and melt them. So, got my soft shackle whatever I want, slide it whatever I want. Awesome.